Hello and welcome back to Interpack TV. It's day 6 of the world's leading trade fair for process and packaging. We are very excited to bring you another day full of innovations, insights and inspiring conversations from all across the globe and all across the global process and packaging industry, of course. Talking about innovations, I'm very delighted to welcome Lennart Laakmann from Pilz. Lennart, nice to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much. I think the last time we met, I was wearing skin-tight shorts. I had cycled over.
Exactly. We've been part of the Circle and Cycle Tour.
Yes, it was great. And it's once again great to have you here. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about today of standards. Standard EN 415, it's all about safety and how you make your machine safe. Basically, everything is written down there. We're the expert for it, and now we're talking about what details are there and what to really look into to make your machine safe and secure.
Lennart, we're very excited. It's your turn. Have a good time. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Matthias. And that's really the topic what we're talking about today. It's EN 415, that's the standard. And first reaction, I can imagine, okay, you switch off, standards are boring. But stay there, because we will get into it from the high level to the drill down what it really means for your machine. And that's what we're talking about today. If you don't like to look into standards, how to make your machine safe and secure, I have a very quick solution. Get in touch with our colleagues of Pilz. They do everything for you. You don't need to do it. Otherwise, you need to stay with me. I'll explain you how you can approach the topic of standards to get your machine safe and secure. But starting with the topic standards, why are standards interesting? Because they make our life easy. We have the example of a credit card. Because of standards, you can use a credit card all around the world, and it works. You can pay in Japan, you can pay in Germany, you can pay in the US, everywhere you like to, you can pay because there is written down the numbers, where the chip card is located and how you can pay with it. Same applies to machinery safety. Basically, we have our standards and also our above that, our law, the Machine Directive, and from 20th of January, the Machine Regulation. So volatile environment, a lot of changes. You need to adapt to the new law, which will take place, the Machine Regulation. When I'm talking about you need to do, I'm talking not only about OEMs who build the machines, who are responsible for the safety of those machines, if you want to sell them in the European Union, but also end users. If you make significant changes to your machine, you are required to make a CE certification and a risk assessment. All this is required by our Machine Directive, and from 20th of January, as mentioned, also from the Machine Regulation. The big change here from Machine Directive to Machine Regulation is all about the topic of security. You need to keep your security, your safety, safe from security hazards. But let's look into the standards background. It is really a pyramid of standards. Basically, on the top, the highest level overarching standards are A-level standards, like the ISO 12100, basically showcasing what type of risk assessment or what risk assessment you need to do, how it works, and what risk reduction measures you need to take. Then we have the B-type standards, which are the more specific ones regarding, we're talking about interlock systems or further more specific standards. And then we're talking about today's topic, C-type standards. C-type standards are really specific in the application. Here we really go down and find your machine you are building. For example, form, fill, seal machines in the EN 415 standard. Let's take a step back and look into the overarching topic. I think when you heard the two words machine regulation in the beginning, you were talking regulation. What is this? Regulation, this is really the law on European level. So not the countries need to make based from the European regulation, local law, but it is really directly binding. So if you have a binding law, this is a regulation. You know regulations from the one in the middle. The PPWR is your regulation you need to deal with all day, all around, but we will not talk today in this one. We talked about the machine regulation and EN 415, because besides sustainability, you still need to keep your machine safe and your operators safe, and that's the way how you do it. Regarding the C-type standards, where we dig into in a second the EN 415, there's one big benefit of C-type standards. If there is a C-type standard and you comply with it, there's an implication of conformity to the higher standard as well as the regulation above. So if you comply with the requirements of EN 415, you automatically comply with the ISO 12100 and also machine regulation. Of course, in EN 415, all the related relevant other standards are noted down. It's a very big document. I think you don't want to read it. It's 1,200 pages. I've digged through it. Our experts dig through it. They are the experts for every question you have around this standard and many more regarding safety. But let's look into EN 415 and where you can find your machine. Really, we are talking about primary packaging, secondary packaging, and end-of-line packaging. And this overview is really where to look into when you want to make your machine safe and get in touch with the EN 415 standard. Because you locate your machine, we have form-fill seal machines, vertical form-fill seal, horizontal form-fill seal machines, but also the blister packaging or aseptic brick packaging machines. Everything in primary packaging is in the chapters 2 and 3 of the standards. If we move on and go to the secondary packaging machines, you find them in the EN 415-5 and -7. Here we're talking about shrink wrappers, case packers, or also overwrapping. I think now you recognized almost every of your machine in this standard, but of course packaging is more than only primary and secondary. We have also the component which is almost before intralogistics, which is end-of-line packaging. Here we're talking all about palletizing, and this is in the chapters 4 and 6 of the EN 415 standard. And now I have some funny thing for you, because I now will show you a slide which you cannot show in a presentation, because it is a table, but it's full of value for you, because you will find here the overview of all chapters where you can start with your machine, how to make them secure. And what I mentioned earlier, if the C-type standard is harmonized, it will go make your machine compliant, if you're compliant to EN 415, to your higher level A-type standard and machine regulation. Here we have the overview. I think I will not go into it. You see what standards are harmonized, almost every one of them. But one comment to mention, they are harmonized for Machine Directive. Machine Directive will change over into machine regulation in the beginning of January next year. So you need to act now, make your machine compliant to machine regulation, which is the new one coming up. It includes all around this security, what I mentioned in the beginning. You need to safeguard your safety from security hazards. So it's all about protection against corruption. Let's look into EN 415-3, because this one I took into detail for you today, because it's all about the form, fill and seal machines. We are in the primary packaging looking into form, fill, seal machines. It's a standard which is there since 2009, updated since 2021, and you have really looking into form, fills and seal machines. It is harmonized to Machine Directive and also updated regularly. Looking into the updates, I brought the changes for you today. This really is just an overview for you to look into the details. We have now removed the cardboard feed solutions This is now in EN 415-7. Maybe you recognize this solution because a lot of case packers, secondary packaging machines have safe cardboard feed solutions. And that's also the name of our safe cardboard feed solution, because if you have something like this and most likely have a very own designed application in this regard, you need to make TÜV certification to make it safe and secure based on EN 415-7. But you can also take a shortcut, because the shortcut is in Hall 18B, booth C11. There we have exhibited our safe cardboard feed solution, which is TÜV certified. So you just need to take our solution with our controller and sensor, put it in your machine. The cardboard feed solution is safe. Let's look what we need to safeguard, because there are multiple hazards within the environment of packaging machines, especially the form, fill and seal machines. Here we have hazards. I don't need to explain it to you because you know your machine better than I do. We have mechanical hazards like moving parts. You could be drawn in or entangled, or we have cutting hazards. Furthermore, we have further thermal hazards. For example, like in this overview, heat sealing. The operators can burn themselves. Everything you see there needs to be safeguarded, and your operator needs to be protected from those hazards. So basically, you need to make guarding, interlocking to make the separating protection around your machine, but also you need to control everything around this with your logical controller, which might be a relay or a safety controller or a safety PLC. Then also e-stops are a topic, and that's what we look into in a second in our video, which I brought to you from a real-life application. They are using our magnetic safety switch, which is the PSEN S-Lock, as well as our safety controller PNOTS Multi 2.
Machines and systems are produced for packaging applications here at R&F Automation und Fördertechnik GmbH, with a focus on installation and commissioning of automated end-of-line solutions. The approximately 25-meter-long so-called sort packer repacks trays filled by type with delicatessen salads into mixed type trays. The configurable small controller PNOTS Multi 2 is a central component of the hybrid safety solution. It monitors signals from the decentralized connected sensors to communicate in the next step the safety status to the subordinate controller. The safety interlock system PSEN S-Lock 2 is directly connected to the safe decentralized input modules of the PDP-67 field distributor via pre-assembled cables. Signals of the TÜV-certified solution for safe monitoring of cardboard feed can also be processed by PNOTS Multi 2. The reliable solution protects operators and faults are quickly resolved. Processes are now more productive.
I think this is a real good application to showcase what we are capable of safeguarding your application, and I think there are multiple machines which are similar, because we have in the packaging industry a lot of doors to safeguard, a lot of conveyor belts to safeguard, and we've seen a lot of hazards in the applications and where we need to safeguard our operators. And therefore we have with Pilz all the solutions all around safeguarding your machines, starting from the logic, the brain of the machine, the controller in the application, really collecting all sensors data, controlling run speed and what you want to control in safeguard within your applications, even it is an e-stop or door switches. Talking about door switches, doors are different. You have big ones, you have small ones. You need to interlock them, you don't need to interlock them. You need to save the process from your operators or vice versa. Everything needs to be looked into, and therefore we have a versatile portfolio of control devices as well as interlock switches and relays. Sometimes you cannot make your machine close. You need an open insertion or extrusion spot where, for example, pellets needs to leave a palletizer area. You cannot operate with the door opening it manually and closing it. You need ESPE. You need a light curtain, a laser scanner, a radar, all depending on your needs. We have it in our portfolio, and you can really recognize it and experience it on our booth in Hall 18B, C11. You will experience the whole Pilz experience, and now I come back to my offer from the beginning. If you don't want to look into the standard of EN 415, the standards all around safety and security, just go and talk to our experts. They will do it for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lennart, for this groundbreaking insights. Very interesting. Thank you very much. I would like to know, how do safety requirements differ between traditional packaging lines and increasingly automated or smart packaging lines?
This is basically, we are now talking about all the hazards which come from automation. Automation is great, but we need to keep in mind a robot, a conveyor belt, a thermal closing, heating, and so on. Those are all hazards we need to protect our people, our operators from. So that's the big difference.
Many companies, I think, see compliance mainly as a regulatory burden, right? So where do you see the business advantages of designing according to the EA 415 standards?
I fully agree with you. In the beginning, it's a burden. For me, I honestly say, when I started looking into EN 415, I sat on my desk and opened 11 PDFs because of the 11 chapters, and I've seen every PDF is 100 pages long or even longer. I didn't want to dig into it. But the benefit is you make your machine compliant, and therefore you reduce and eliminate the risk that you are sued. The legal risk is even higher if something happens, and that's why you need to make your machine safe and compliant.
And I think the key news, the good news is the solutions are ready.
Exactly. You have built-in solutions, you have modular solutions, everything fitting for your scaling operations, everything you need.
And Pilz is going to help you, right?
Absolutely. I made the offer, it's offer standing. Come and get to us.
If you could give packaging companies one key recommendation regarding machine safety and compliance, let's say for the next 5 years, what would it be?
For the next 5 years? It seems a long distance.
Yes.
But it is not.
Okay.
Because we have the machine regulation coming into place in 9 months, in the beginning of January. Or it's even less than 9 months. And afterwards, 9 months after this, in November, the Cyber Resilience Act comes into place. Both topics you need to comply with because they are European law. Machine regulation is European law. You need to protect your machine against corruption. Cyber Resilience Act is the even next step in comparison to this. You need to make all digital devices secure from cyber security risks. Okay,
so Lennart Laakmann, thank you very much once again for this, for presenting the seamless solutions from Pilz. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
And for you, thank you very much for watching us, for joining us today. We'll be back at 11 o'clock, and stay tuned. Thank you very much.